Welcome to my Real Estate Jojo with Mr. Investor. This is Mike. Gang, as you already know, and today's subject's about the mechanics of a subject to and what happens at closing, because you need to understand this process to make money, and then two, to be able to explain to your seller during the negotiation phase why he should sell you the house with none of your money and none of your credit. Okay, so now what is a subject to? Simply put, buying a property subject to existing mortgage means that you buy a property without using any of your own money and you don't use your credit. Okay? Refer back to one of my videos about what is a subject to learn in more detail of what is a subject to, because it's a very powerful way to build wealth in America. All right. Now that I've defined what a subject to is, let's see the closing. What happens at closing on a subject to? All right. Now, what happens is, as a wholesaler, you go out there, you advertise, you find a motivated seller, you explain to him that he can sell you his house subject to his existing mortgage. And then once you guys get into an agreement, you take that purchase agreement to a closing company or escrow company or an attorney's office. And at that time, the closing will happen, which means you as the buyer will show up and the seller will show up to the escrow company, and you guys go run through a marathon of paperwork and sign it. So now let's talk about what happens at closing, okay? So you both show up, and number one thing that happens at closing when you buy a property subject to is that the seller conveys the deed to the buyer, which is you in this case as an investor. And you, on the other hand, promise to the seller that you'll make their monthly payments. Okay? Now it's very important that you pay attention. You're able to explain to your seller what happens here. The seller's underlying mortgage or underlying note or underlying lien stays in place. These are all the same things. Refer back to my general terms of real estate. So again, at closing, the seller gives you the title of the property. You become the rightful title owner of the property. You sign a note to the seller promising him that you'll make monthly payments on the property. And then at the same time, you sign a deed of trust to the seller that you pledge the property for collateral in case you default. And when the transaction is finished, when the dust clears, when the closing is over, the seller has given you the property, you're the rightful owner of it. However, his underlying note or the lien or the loan stays in place. So after closing, you step into the seller's shoes, you make the monthly payments month after month till you cash out the loan, okay? Or till you sell the property and then cash out the loan for the seller's note. Therefore, this is very important, so pay attention. When anybody does the seller's credit, that house mortgage or the house loan is still on the seller's credit, okay? So it's very important that you make the monthly payments month after month, okay? And your ability to explain to the seller that that mortgage is going to be still under their neck or their responsibility. And even though you bought the house, when they do their credit report, it's going to show up as a liability for them, okay? So it's very important that you explain that to the seller. But basically, the mechanics of a subject to at closing is everything's the same as traditional transaction. One of the few things that's different is that the underlying note never gets cashed out, okay? You just step into the seller's shoes and make the monthly payments, okay? In summary, after the dust clears, three things will happen in a subject to closing. One, the seller will give you the deed, so you become the rightful owner of the property. Two, the seller's loan or the seller's underlying mortgage or the seller's underlying lien or note stays in place. You just start making the payments to the seller. 3, the seller will get some money, or the seller will bring and give you some money. Now, go back to my videos about how to 3 ways to structure a subject to deal to make money regarding option number 3, which is the part where the seller will get some money or he or she will have to bring you some money. So in a nutshell, simply put, after the subject to closing, you're the rightful owner of the property. The seller is still reliable for the property. However, you have solved their problem and you start making payments on the seller's property as you promised. And make sure you keep your word. Tonight we talked about what happens at a subject to closing and the mechanics of it. All right, gang. If you have any questions or comments, please list it below, and I will answer your comments or questions in 48 hours. At the same time, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe, please comment, please like, please share. Help me help you make more videos. I do these videos for free, and when you subscribe, when you like them, it pumps me up, gives me energy to make more videos for you. Gang, this is Mike with Mr. Investor. Go out there, take action, and make it happen for yourself. I'll talk to you later, gang.